Hello, my name is Madhu Gurthy, and I'm running for School Board Director, Region 2, Downingtown Area School District.
So school boards are the foundation of our community. They are the community's voice in public education, and in many ways, they are our first entry into civics. However, when election time comes around, there's often very little coverage about the candidates and the office itself. Therefore, Indivisible and Chester County Marching Forward have come together to introduce some of this year's candidates running for school board. Let's jump right in. Given all of the public discourse in the recent months, what about being a school board director inspires you?
So I've been a resident of Downingtown Area School District for 17 years now. I have two kids. I have a ninth grader and a fifth grader. They've stayed in the district since they started school. And I see very little change in terms of anything other than curriculum when it comes to our school district. So I feel like, they're not listening to diverse voices, and they're not introducing and keeping up with what is needed to move with the world. And in fact, some of the times I feel like we're stepping backwards. And this comes from my experience of having studied in India. In India and China, Singapore, the subcontinents, we've always focused on education and nothing else. It didn't matter if you got B plus. It had to be an A plus. Like the cutoff for college applications, it was so close. And then I came here thinking, okay, I truly love America. I feel like there's an opportunity for everybody. Nobody's really looking at you to know everything by heart. The periodic table, nobody expects you to know it by heart. As far as you know how to access things, I think you're good to go. And that's how it should be. I mean, everybody doesn't need to be an expert at every subject. We're going to school to figure out to get an overview and then pick the subjects which we want to focus on. And so sometimes when people come to me and tell me, oh, Singapore math is so good and everything, I actually take a step back and I'm like, you have no idea what it did to my childhood, because it started when I was in public school in India. It was very competitive, extremely competitive, a lot of pressure, and, all kinds of mental health issues. And people don't see that because, people haven't faced it as much here. Now it's slowly building up. And I want to step in now and talk to people about my experience, the experience of the immigrant population, the South Asian population, which is here, the Chinese population. If you had a one-on-one or even like a town hall meeting with some of us, I'm sure they'll agree that that was not the best way, that we always looked up. America is a country which believed in innovation, where, research, and it was a land of opportunity. They didn't box you in like, okay, you went to accounting school, that's it. All your life, you're going to be in finance and accounting. And if, God forbid, you did decide at 30 that that's not for you and you wanted to do something else, you were looked down upon. So out here, people, you're welcome to switch it up, to learn things, to kind of merge fields. So, I think trying to focus so much on academics, we're taking it all back. And I don't think that's healthy. That's not going to get us anywhere. China is very good at copying stuff. They're good at making prototypes. But I would like to sit with somebody who tells me, who wants to talk innovation or invention. And I bet when you make that, you want to tabulate that into an Excel spreadsheet, you can probably, chart 30 things for Americans or in America and maybe 5 for China. So that's what's driven me to, run for school board, because I can see the peer pressure with my son already.
You mentioned the pressure point in your country about just academics, and then it explodes. And I do feel that mental health piece of it is so important right now, especially coming off of the pandemic. And if we're only talking about or only thinking about, like you said, the periodic table, learning your math facts, how are you going to succeed? That time to just stop and smell the roses, that time to stop and think, that time to stop and dream, We are definitely giving up something. And America is, I agree with you, known for its innovation. And that comes from that creativity. And that creativity comes from when your mind stops, right? Your mind needs oxygen and your mind needs rest. And yeah, we need to be reminded of that. So I appreciate that in your answer. Imagine you're on the school board. What are your top 3 priorities that you want to accomplish during your first term?
Topmost would be later school start times. That's my absolute number one priority. And then mental health. A lot of people do say that, oh, that's going to cost money. Plenty of options, plenty of things we can do without having to, talk about money. But we just need to, somebody just needs to facilitate this and say, we're going to do this and we're going to make it work.
When you think about start times and you're coupling that with the mental health and just, again, the stop and the think and the just slow it down. I think you said something about a race. What are we racing toward? And sometimes it does feel like we are racing toward nothing and we're just always on the go. And so it is dark. It is definitely dark at 6:20 in the morning. My son he's a senior in college now, and way back then, that's just what the bus time was. I think it was 7:30 in the morning, and I'm sorry, 6:30 in the morning, and I couldn't believe it. So I understand, and I'm sure a lot of people would appreciate looking into that. So that is a very, very lofty goal, I will say. So tell me what your biggest strengths are, and how you see that benefiting you and the constituents that you're going to serve.
Well, I think my biggest strength is that I grew up in India. Fortunately, I think growing up, I've always tried to stay away from the rat race. And I've seen how beneficial it can be for people who have had the courage to step out of the mold and gotten out of the rat race and taken the time to breathe and do something different. I think they are happier people, they flourish. So I think my experience and when people that's like when I go canvassing to people tell me, okay, so what's your opinion on the curriculum here? And I'm like, I think you were doing fine 5 years ago. I wouldn't say that you're doing that anymore. I think you're really pressuring kids and you're getting into the rat race of rankings. Like I had a mom 2 days ago in the school board meeting. She was talking about rankings about DASD and how we've fallen back. It doesn't really matter. I think by the end of it, you should see when the child is 22, when they're done with college, where are they? That would be a measure of success, not how many kids went into Ivy League school and how many kids, what are they doing right after high school? It shouldn't matter. I mean, there are people who went to Ivy League schools who aren't doing, nothing like out of the ordinary with their life. And there are people who dropped out or took a break. And, that's most of your people. Like take your Elon Musks and Bill Gates and stuff. Which Ivy League college did they go to? They just took the time, believed in themselves, and had maybe a few people believe in them who gave them the time to figure it out. That's what we need to do with our kids instead of trying to, make them feel guilty, for taking a break or taking it easy or getting a B or a C sometime. It's just pointless.
Yeah, you really have experience matters, and you certainly do have a perspective that we should listen to. And I think that our children, especially here in Downingtown, given all of the mental health issues that we have experienced within the last few years, that our students are telling us that we have reached that boiling point and that we do need to focus on them and their mental health and figure out these coping mechanisms. I loved what you said, that sometimes in education, we just do things just because, like we don't stop and question. So listening to you, I would say, yeah, your experience matters, but you are also someone who is willing to ask the question, why? And that question of why are we doing this? Why are we still doing this? Why can't we change it? That is a very important and critical question. So I can hear that in your reasoning. And I think that might be one of the largest strengths or the biggest strengths that you bring once you're on the school board. So before I let you go, I just want to know if you could tell us one thing that we wouldn't find about you, find out about you if we were to Google you or search you up on Facebook?
I've been to all six continents. I don't want to go to Antarctica. It's just freezing cold. It's not my thing. So I'm going to ignore that bit. But I've been to six continents by the time I turned 40. I've visited approximately 30 UNESCO protected sites and 10 wonders of the world, both old and new. And I love traveling. So that's my thing. And my son shares my passion. So it's interesting now. He plans a lot of our trips. He does his research. We share a Google Doc before we go anything. So I enjoy doing that. And I don't think maybe that's something you won't find on, even because I don't post pictures on Facebook when I go somewhere, unless and until my friends ask me, can you share your itinerary? Then I will, but I don't want to. I don't share pictures and stuff.
Yeah, that is so awesome. And so I'm not sure if I told you or not, but I am a teacher, and sometimes I just put in those wonders of the world, the old ones and the new ones, just to start a conversation and that spark so that children believe that anything is possible. So again, thank you for your perspective, your voice, and good luck in your election.